this is the Dune 2. The much awaited Dune 2 sequel
Dune
episode, bro.
Dune 2 hung babes at the same time.
Ex based.
Based. Just
Based.
and
Based.
there's the episode title right there.
We have
Well,
special guest Trash Bins here.
trash bins.
Very
What's
The
based,
up?
very based. If you
this is
join the Patreon, you can come to my house.
this is
That
literally
should be good incentive, I feel
the
like.
best possible
$5
advertisement.
tier, just sign up.
Super easy.
Join us right
It's
away.
literally that easy. You know, it's like most of these guys are trying to push the whole parasocial thing. This is just straight social.
This is
We
just
are just
social.
He will
hanging
drive
out
to your house and pick you up for free.
Exactly.
for free.
Exactly. Dude, I
Dude,
think we're gonna. It's tough. We'll do some non-spoilers speak at the beginning of Dune 2, but you're fresh out of it.
I
You
just walked out
saw
of
it,
Dune 2.
and we literally
Yes.
saw it last night
Yeah,
or
we
the night
saw it
before.
last night. Yeah.
No, the night before. Was it last night? No, night before. We went bowling.
It
last
was.
night.
Yeah, yeah.
Two
We
nights
saw the
ago.
movie, yeah.
You guys are having
Nice.
so much fun. All the nights are just bleeding together. Just no,
It always
no
happens
sense.
like that, bro. It
Yeah.
always happens like that. Bro.
I just want. It's funny because I feel like, well, Trashmans. I don't know if you felt the same way, but I know that Zach and I both tried watching the first one, and I fell asleep 2 times trying to watch the first Dune movie.
I hated it.
I was
hated
I
it.
was sucked into it. I thought it was really good. I watched it on HBO Max because they simul-released it on that and the theaters at the same time.
Ah, I
So I
see.
just popped in my AirPods and yeah, it
Just
was a good
watch that.
watch.
Dude,
I mean,
I didn't care for it like you were saying, but
I mean, yeah, we had a whole an old episode from like almost a year and a half ago where we're like shitting on the movie. Like that was the Dune episode that I think we did when the first one was released, and I did not see that one in theaters, which I realize as time goes on, like seeing a movie in theaters is going to make your enjoyment level of it better across the board. Like even with a bad movie, you're going to get something out of it. But like movies that are kind of even experimental, like for example, one of my favorite movies that came out in like 2019, I think is when it came out, was The Lighthouse. You guys saw that one, right?
I didn't care for
I've
that
not
one
seen
either.
that
But
one.
yes,
Okay. And that was one of my favorite movies. That came out the same year that Parasite came out, and Parasite was the one that everyone was talking about at the time. And I went to go see Parasite, which is, I mean, 10 out of 10, amazing movie. But I saw that in theaters, and then I saw The Lighthouse in theaters. And I felt like when I saw The Lighthouse, it like totally fucking blew my hair back. Like it was like an experience.
Hmm.
Then flash forward, like I don't know, 2 years later, I tried watching it again at home, and it's still a good movie, but I was like, I'm very thankful that I saw this in theaters because if I tried watching this at home, I would have hated it, or it would have completely lost my attention.
bro. Speaking
Um,
of Parasite, didn't one of the main actors or actresses just die?
yeah, the
Which
dad of the
one?
Oh,
rich
really?
family, he just died.
I
Yeah,
thought it
it
was the
was
director that died.
no,
No,
it was
not Hung Bong or whatever. Bong
it
Cho.
was
Bong Cho.
that's it
It's
was
literally
it
Bong, bro. Look up his
no,
name. It's
it's
Bong Cho.
a
I was not
bong.
being racist.
Anyway, the lead actor who was the father of the rich family, he died, and it actually was on some fucked up shit. I think I feel like he was
Like a
like
drug overdose?
no, he did commit suicide, I think by carbon monoxide
Oh,
poisoning, but
Jesus.
Oh
it
wow.
was because he was like convicted on like a weed possession charge, which I think carries a lot of weight in Korea. I could be completely talking out of my ass, but that's what I heard that he like it was over some drug offense, which like is like weed. We're talking about marijuana, but it's like because of the repercussions, I think in South Korea, he was so overwhelmed by like getting caught for it that
Yeah, because
he,
that's what I heard. I guess I just had the wrong person in mind.
yeah, which is really tragic and sad. And Parasite is an unbelievable movie. That one, on the contrary, I saw that one in theaters and it was super hyped up. I mean, I felt like everybody was like, this is the best movie I've ever seen. And I saw it in theaters and I was like, wow, this movie was really good. But I think I was like, I don't know if it's the best movie I've ever seen. And then, like a few months ago, I watched that one at home. And for some reason, on second viewing, I was like, holy shit,
I
this
watched
movie
that one
is
at home and
fucking
loved it.
amazing. It's
I
amazing.
really like
Amazing
that one.
movie. Yeah.
There's
But
something about Korean movie now. Okay, I guess I can't really say that because I think I've only seen like Parasite and Old Boy,
Old
but
Boy, both
it's
good.
true what the director said. He made like some sassy comment where he's like, Once you can get over the barrier of reading 1-inch subtitles, the world
Yeah,
of cinema will open up to you.
really
You know
opens
what I'm
up.
saying? And I
It's
was like, all
true.
right.
I mean, I also saw by the same director of Parasite. I want to get his name right. Uh, Parasite
Yeah, show Harris that
director.
picture on the phone real
Oh,
quick.
show him
The
on the
the
phone.
Mega
Yeah,
Mind.
let me.
Oh yeah, Bong Joon-ho. Yeah, his he also directed this movie called Memories of Murder, which I would highly recommend. It came out before Parasite, and I watched that one recently. I think it's on Hulu, and it was also recommended to me by one of my like movie friends, and it was fire. That one
Who's
was really
this?
good too. So
Dude, we
I
saw this
love foreign
picture
films.
last night. I'm gonna have I'm gonna have Trash Bin show you. I know you're gonna
What is
love
it?
it.
What the hell is that? Wait. Oh, my God, is that Austin Butler?
No, wait a minute. Let me
Megamind?
hold it closer.
Yeah, he does.
Let me hold it closer.
That is screaming Megamind Austin Butler.
No, dude, it's from Dune 2.
Yeah, but he's got a big head.
Dude,
That's
it's the
Austin
guy.
Butler, the actor.
No, it's Skarsgård, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's Skarsgård.
Are you
What?
simple? You
Are
just
you
watched Dune.
sure?
Dude, Dune 2 is the bad guy's the Skarsgård kid.
Bruh, it's Austin Butler, you
That is
bimbo.
not Austin Butler, bro. You're insane.
The guy, dude, you're thinking of the other guy, not the fat guy. The like violent freak.
Yeah,
The little
That's
guy.
the nephew.
Bill Skarsgård.
You're literally a goof.
Does it
You're a
Bro,
goof.
you're insane.
Dune 2
does it say
cast.
Skarsgård?
Let me check. I gotta check.
Like I literally just stepped out of here. Dude, it's Austin Butler.
It's Austin
You,
Butler.
Uh-oh.
It's Austin.
you're like, are you like what?
I thought
You
it was
guys
the guy who
are-
played it.
No, what?
What? Because
What
I
are you
was like,
talking
I
about?
literally in the theater, I was like, yeah, the only reason he was able to do the voice that sounded like the big Skarsgård guy is because he was his son. That was, dude.
Man, now you were gaslighting me because I
Yo,
didn't know who it
what?
was, and you were like, "Oh, it's the Skarsgård," and I'm like, "Oh shit."
Literally,
You know-
we let them even. I was like, dude, it took me till halfway through to realize that was the it guy, dude.
Oh my
What?
God.
That's the fucking
Oh.
Elvis guy.
That's the Elvis guy. And the
Everyone
funny
was
thing,
acting like he was the most shit ass actor ever, and he was actually good.
he was
really
very
good.
good
He
in
was
this
actually
movie.
amazing.
It's and I was joking with Angie after we stepped out of the movie because a lot of people were like clowning on Austin Butler for a period of time after he finished the Elvis movie. He was still like talking in the Elvis voice, like he was like doing that weird Southern drawl, like the Memphis speak, and was like, "Yeah, I got so in character that now I talk like Elvis." And I don't know what that was about. I think he dropped it. I'm sure he dropped it eventually, but it'd be funny if he did that with this movie instead, where like after this movie for a long time he was like, I will kill you. Like everything he said, he had a crazy voice in this
Well,
movie.
dude,
But
I'm curious if you felt there was partway through. I forget what scene it was, but it was Austin Butler, and I was like, it literally just looked like they ripped the Prometheus alien out of Prometheus and put him in the fucking movie.
I
They
think
did,
it's
yeah.
just the shaved eyebrows.
It was
that
the
does it.
that could have
the
been
shaved
it.
eyebrows, he looked fucked. I mean, but he was. I thought he was a standout performance. Should we just get to spoilers? Should we just say Dune 2 spoilers across the
Well,
board? 'Cause, like,
let me say this just to
ahead.
reiterate what you said. Did not like one at all. Hated it. Ripped on it, and I know some
Yeah.
of the Cold Cuts freaks were like, "Kill Cold Cuts. That's the best
Yeah.
movie ever." I could literally not look away from Dune 2. I literally was like so locked in.
it was very visually
I like
enchanting. It was
the
insane.
advertising you're doing, by the way, for Madam Web.
Oh, I forgot I was gonna open this podcast like I just got back from the theater. Guess what movie I saw?
Did you grab
That's
me
right.
one?
Dune 2. No, I only
Oh,
grabbed
you
this
bastard.
one.
Dude,
I
that's
was
bigger
already-
than it looked in your Twitter picture. I
big.
thought it was going
It's
to be
like
like this big.
It's the same size as the Avatar 2 one, and it's so funny because Angie did the same thing. Like and like the when we
Well,
were
where she refused to get the
well that when I went to go and last last time I saw these posters just like hanging out in front of a movie, which some people were saying on Twitter that is like becoming something of a common thing, which more theaters should be doing that. I think it's a great free little like collector's item, even for a movie I didn't see. I was like, dude, this is iconic. I'm fucking grabbing this. But the last time that I saw one, I was in DC visiting Angie's family, and we all went to go see Avatar 2, and there was a little stack of posters like this as we're walking into the movie, and I grabbed one. And Angie and her mom were both like berating me, like, why don't you just grab one when we leave the theater? They're still gonna be there. Like, go grab one after. Like, you're gonna carry that the whole movie? I'm like, what do you mean? It's just gonna sit on my lap. It's not gonna bother me at all.
Paper,
They were like
dude.
literally wouldn't let it go. And I was like, I'm doing this. Like, you cannot talk me out of this. And they were like, you're crazy. We walked out of the theater. And everybody is now like, I'm holding the poster, and there's people coming up to me like, "Where'd you get that? Where did you get that?" And I'm like, "There was a stack right there," and it was like, "No more left." And I'm like, "I guess they don't have any more." And then Angie's mom was like, "Oh, I really want one of those. Let me grab one." All gone. And I was like,
Dude, that's the day they respected the quirky gringo. They started
"Dude,
to respect the
well,
quirky gringo.
you'd
after that.
think that, but now I grabbed one on the way into this movie, and Angie was like, "You're really gonna grab one of those?
Oh
Why
my
don't you just get it
God,
on the
dude.
way out?" And I was
Did
like,
paper kill her grandma? Like,
I
what
was
is going
literally like,
on, dude?
I was like, I cannot believe you're trying to like sell me out of this like for a second time when I already proved you wrong. There were still Madam Web posters sitting there when we walked out of this one, to be fair, but I wasn't gonna risk it. I wanted to get one, and I got one. So this is gonna go up on that back wall next to Bottling
So
Sunshine, probably.
stupid,
But
dude.
anyway, wait,
You
what
gotta
were we
put it
talking
next
about
to
right
Bottling
before?
Sunshine, the Bottling Sunshine print, which, by the way, they've been posting pics from their event, and they
Mm.
just did like some platinum blonde dreads. Raw power. Extremely
Uh,
raw power.
raw power. We really got to get them on the podcast. I feel like that's
Yeah,
like
you've
long
kind of been
overdue.
bogarting them a little bit.
Yeah, well,
You were like,
we've
oh, they
been
were on the Beatles stream, but I don't
they've been
know.
on the
I don't know
Beatles
if
stream.
they'll want to come on the Cold Cuts
I
stream.
know. Yeah, we should bring them on. That'd be fun. But anyway,
Spoilers.
can we talk Dune spoilers?
Spoilers. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
spoilers. I mean, like, I don't think I'm
Watch
gonna
the
ruin
listen.
anything.
Normally, I will say this before we get into spoilers. Normally, if you're like me, I'm like, just tell me the spoilers. I don't care. I'll watch the movie.
Yeah.
Later. I don't care. Watch Dune 2. Press pause. Go get your ticket. Go
Watch
watch
Dune
Dune
2,
2
and
and
then
come
come
back.
back and
We'll be
see this
here. We'll
one.
be
And then
waiting.
go watch the first one.
Maybe.
Yeah, and what?
Watch the
Maybe.
second one.
Well, I would like to rewatch the first one. Okay, I think obviously this second one, especially visually stunning. I mean, actually unbelievable. There was not a moment that the what was being shown to me on screen, I was not like
In a
mind
budget that's a
blown.
quarter of something like Quantum Mania, and it's like,
That's crazy.
I saw that and I was like, dude, what are the Marvel people doing? Like,
Oh
these
no,
people have
yeah.
to be wasting money for Mr. Villeneuve to get such
Yeah.
a popping movie on that budget, dude. Bro, that one
Yeah.
shot, like during the battle at the end, where there's all this sand, and then it's just like you see the sandworm, like, hello, and it's
Yeah,
like,
where he just
dude,
pops out. That was
that was
crazy.
so sick.
I mean,
What was the
the
budget? Like 80 million or
I
something?
want to say 190,
190?
190. Let me
190.
check.
I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, and you could tell that I think this is part of why this one
190
was
million.
amazing. 190. I think part of why this one worked so well, and pointing to something like Quantum Mania and why that one stunk. I didn't even see it, but I
I
don't
didn't
intend
either.
to.
I saw the picture of the Modak guy, and I was
I saw the fucking and I saw like the
It was-
trailer,
it
and I
was
was like,
cool.
I'm not
When
seeing
I
this.
went to see it in theaters, and I was just like, eh.
yeah.
It was just getting terrible reviews, and I'm already really like with the Marvel movies, I'm like whatever with them anyway. So, but I think what it is with Dune is that like you could tell that every department involved was really putting their like soul into it because like the costume design, 10 out of 10. The sound production, 10 out of 10.
We'll have to
I
talk
mean,
about the costume design because that was a point of contention.
was it
Annie
really?
Villeneuve was being accused of racism heavily. There's
Is
a
it-
ton of thousands of quote tweet things where they're like, that white woman is wearing an abaya and forced herself into the nomadic tribe to take over, and it's like, thank you, that's the point.
Yes, that's the point.
You're
Yes.
an
I mean,
idiot.
well,
Die.
here's the thing. I mean, you can pretty clearly like I would say the metaphor of Dune being I would actually like to read the books. I can tell that it's a very like rich like lore, like all of the world building is insane in this
My
movie
man
and
just ordered all
If,
six.
if you want
Really?
on Amazon, there's 6
There's
books
6?
that I'm gonna have to wait a few weeks for it, but I was able to get it for like $70 for the 6 books.
If you're like
Damn.
me though, Harris, and you're a cheap bastard, you can get the first 3 books for $16 on Amazon right now.
Really?
Yeah.
$16.
I would like to read them. I mean, I do feel like looking at other franchise. Well, Okay, it's funny. Before I even say this, it is crazy how much this second movie has elevated the franchise as a whole for me. Because after that first one, I really was like, "Who gives a shit?" And now
Yeah.
after seeing
Yeah.
this one, I'm way more invested, and I believe it has a very bright future. The next, I guess there's going to be six movies. Is it going to
I'll
be
be
like
in the
Well,
that?
well,
seats for all of them.
well, Villeneuve,
Yeah,
he said he's planning. He wanted it to be a trilogy, so he's planning on doing the third one. And if you are
interesting.
reading the books, that's going to cover the Dune Messiah book.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's kind of
Okay.
mixed. Like, I think the first movie was book one
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
with like a little bit of book
because
two,
Dune
or
1 and 2 is just the Dune book, but the book itself is split into three parts.
right, right.
So it was like the first part and half of the second part was the Dune 1, and then the
Got
rest of it
it.
was Dune 2.
I mean, I could.
Which is probably why 1 didn't feel so satisfying because it's like it left you on that cliffhanger and you
Yeah.
only got the action in the later
Yeah.
half.
I mean, I would say like. I could there were some moments for as long as the movie was, there were a couple moments where I could tell that they were kind of having to like skirt past something and get to the next scene, like move things along. I mean, I would be curious how much of this movie hit the editing room floor because there's so much going on. There's so many characters, empires, different like worlds, and
I'd
like
watch a 4 hours director's cut.
if there
Easy,
was a
like
director's
easily.
cut, yeah, I could have easily watched a longer version of this, but there were some moments where particularly with the mother who becomes the sort of like witch, like
The
what's the
racist woman.
Reverend Mother or something like that?
Yeah, the
Is she
Yeah.
Reverend
racist?
Mother, yeah, she was one of the Bene Gesserit.
Was that the one that people are accusing of being racist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think like there were some scenes. I got two thoughts there. There were a couple scenes with her that I kind of felt like they had to just kind of like move along. You know what I mean? Just to like get back to the action. And there's some stuff I'd like to cover on that because it did also point to some of the reasons that some of the issues I have with Dune. But it's to me, the accusations of like racism, it's like, well, the whole you're just not going to like the story if you want to like I can tell without even reading the books the metaphor for Dune is in itself kind of a obvious one. I don't want to say thin because that kind of like writes it off, but it's like it's obvious. The whole thing is a very clear metaphor for the Middle East and mining for oil in the Middle East. I mean, it's really
Yeah,
that
Danny
simple,
Villeneuve
right?
said that the good guys in the movie, like Paul Atreides, they're Israel, and then the bad guys are Palestine. He
Oh,
said
is
that.
that what he said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And I mean, like the actual kind of overarching theme or metaphor with Timothy Chalamet's character Paul, which to me is just so funny that his name is
Such a
Paul.
dude. Everyone's
Hilarious
named
ass
like
name.
Glub Glub Bip Blow, and then
Yeah,
it's
I know
like
everyone's got a
Paul.
crazy name and his name's Paul. But I mean it's in its own way, it's the same kind of like Jake Sully thing, like where we're seeing kind of the white man who becomes indoctrinated into, this more like indigenous group of people and then becomes sort of the spearhead of their movement or savior. Like at its surface level, you can't deny that's what it is. And if you take issue with that as a whole, which it's not wrong to take issue with that because it is a little tired, but you're just not going to like the movie. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it
But
is.
since we're in spoiler territory, Mr. Harris,
Go
I don't
ahead.
want to ruin things for you, but if you read the books and the book synopsises, that isn't
Yeah,
that
That's
Paul.
not what
isn't
Yeah,
happens.
that's not
well,
that's not the metaphor.
yeah,
No.
Paul's not
Interesting.
the good guy in
No.
this series.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not going to ruin too
Interesting.
much because it's not a movie spoiler. It's a book spoiler. But there's a cool. I don't know if you'd call it a twist, but it's
Kind
not a
of
white
like a
savior story, in my opinion.
Interesting. Okay, well, I like that, and I'm interested to see what happens. But I I will say maybe this is probably the hot take, or but it was also I think my biggest issue with the movie because it was the thing that kept pulling me out, and it made me realize what is my problem with the series, and I can see as a future issue. I don't think Timothy Chalamet was the right choice for this role. I think that he has a really dry delivery, and it's something that is an issue of mine. It's not an issue, it's an issue across the board with a lot of movies where the guy who appears to be the main character is acting as a vessel for the story to move, but in itself is not an interesting character. Like unless you have somebody playing them interestingly or charismatically. And I just couldn't bring myself to care about Timothy Chalamet's character because his delivery was too like there was just nothing to it. I felt like it
Well,
like I don't know. I
I
don't
think
know.
that was almost on purpose, and I could be completely wrong. I'm not the director. But I do think, even in the book, too, based on what I've read, that he's supposed to be. I mean, he's the character you're supposed to imprint on.
Yeah.
And I think
Sure.
it's easier to imprint on a blank slate character a little bit more than, like, if he was whatever. But I'll tell you this, my issue is it's very hard to believe he's 15. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
He's
that
supposed
I
to be
don't
like a
buy at
kid,
all.
and it's like, to me, he's like a 22-year-old, 23-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are other movies. I mean, not to compare it. There are apples and oranges, but there is a comparison there. It's like I do think that like the cast of Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker on this on a surface level could be kind of like a dull character because he's just like the good guy. But Mark Hamill plays him kind of like cheeky and a little smarmy, and he's kind of like a fun character to watch, and he adds a lot, and you become emotionally invested in him. I'm not even the biggest Star Wars fan, but it's just the first thing that comes to mind because it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
another like big budget sci-fi movie. And something about Timothy Chalamet, I just can't connect to him. And I do fear a bit that they casted him in the role because when did the first one come out? Like, when did the first one come out? A year and a half ago,
Let
two
me give
years
you an
ago,
exact date.
something like that.
When did the first
Came,
Dune come out?
Yeah.
the first Dune came
Yeah,
out.
I want to
I
say
kind
that
of
would have
feel
been like maybe 2020, 2021.
something
2021.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2021. So like I want to say when that one came out, they were kind of still riding this really heavy hype train of Timothy Chalamet where it felt like he was in everything and they were like, "Yo, get this guy." Like, you know what
He
I mean?
was
Almost
in everything. Dude, did
he
you
was in
see the
everything.
story when he gave like 20 women at his college syphilis?
Yes, I was living in
Literally
New
was in
York during the
everything, but
time of
yes.
that. It's funny. But anyway, he like I almost kind of feel like it's hard for me to believe that uh uh Denny Villeneuve or even like Frank Herbert, is he still alive? The guy who
No,
wrote
No,
he's
it?
he
dead.
died in the
He's
80s.
deceased. It's hard for me to believe that Timothy Chalamet was the face they had in mind for this role. It feels almost like a producer thing, being like, yeah, we'll throw this much money at you, but you got to get that kid Timothy Chalamet in the movie. He is hot to trot right now. Get him in this movie because now, and here's the reason. I'm not even trying to roast Timothy Chalamet because I like him in some roles, but the problem is that his dry delivery of this character makes it like I'm very invested in the action and in the overarching story, the political story of Dune, but there's a really important element to the story, which is this like spiritual, prophetic element. And during the scenes that are really heavily like that tone, I find myself not really invested or caring, and it's because Chalamet is too dry. Like I don't feel emotionally invested in his character. So these parts that are more like lofty and like magical I don't feel. Does that make sense? Do you get what I'm saying?
Like
Like
the energy doesn't match where it's like they're all hyped up for him, but then it's like you watch the movie and he's kind of like you said a kind of dry delivery.
he's a little dry and it doesn't and it
Here's
makes
my
it
question
feel.
though.
Go ahead.
Did you hate those scenes, or were you bored by those scenes? Because I get what you're saying, and I feel the same way, but I was still invested.
I was still invested because I would still say that overall, first of all, okay, I gotta say, you know who sold it and more than anybody?
Bill
Best character in the
Skarsgård,
movie.
the guy
Best
from
character
Hit.
in the movie, Javier Bardem. I seriously loved his character.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I think that Javier Bardem on the other hand, took a character who could have been kind of dull or annoying because he's kind of he's very like he's in there and he's really in your face and he's very like excited about the prophecy and all this, and that could have been kind of like a grating or annoying like one-dimensional character, but being an incredible actor, he breathed such like life into it, like he made him a very unique and believable character. It felt like I know people like that, which is important in a movie that is on a foreign planet where the characters are speaking another language and there's technology they don't recognize. You need to attach yourself emotionally to the humanity of the characters. And Javier Bardem is a really successful example of that. And I don't think Timothy Chalamet was is unsuccessful, but it's like I not enough for me to care about him being the Messiah and all of this. Like, I didn't buy it. I
Bro,
didn't buy into that part.
I'll say this though. I love Javier Bardem. I love his character. I don't. It felt like he was almost ad-libbing at some parts though, but there were times where like there was a somber tone, and then he would make like a funny
A little bit of a
remark, and
joke.
I was like, it was funny, but I'm still like, it didn't really fit the vibe
Yeah,
sometimes because it was like a little more
yeah.
serious in a
There
way.
were a
But
couple moments like that, and I don't even know if it was necessarily from him, but there were a couple, a trace few examples where it felt like that Joss Whedon, like they had to do a little bit of like a,
yes,
Yeah.
you got to
yes,
break the tension a little bit. And I kind of was frustrated. I'm like, no, like don't let the Reddit get a hold of this
yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
don't let it like they should go as far as possible with this movie to make it an experience that not everyone is going to enjoy because it's so foreign and the world building is very rich. They can get fucking wet and wild with it, you know what I mean? And like not do the little like you gotta make a little, somebody does something silly and you know what
That
I
was
mean?
probably a
Like
studio mandate, honestly,
Yeah.
at that point.
it's hard, and I do feel in some ways that I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth because my issue with Dune 1, or what I saw of it, I'm not trying to do a, Vosh only eats chicken tendies, but is trying to give you like a feedback on like,
On
you know,
Italian and Indian food.
Italian food. I'm not trying to, it's hard for me to critique Dune because the truth is I could not get through it. I just did not, I didn't enjoy it. And that one I felt was too dull, too bleak.
Mm.
Like there was, but it's not because you need those little boing moments that like pull, like, oh, haha, like a moment like that. It's not like that. It's like, you just need those moments that are like feel real and raw.
Hmm.
And I don't feel that the Javier Bardem moments were, I can't think of any moments by him that were super forced because they still felt like natural reactions. Like they did feel ad-libbed and but well done. Like there were a couple moments, I feel like there was a moment or two by Josh Brolin that had that feel to the problem of being like insert laugh track here like moment, you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
I think, and it wasn't his fault, it was just like I don't know, like a choice. Even Zendaya had a couple moments like
I
that
was telling
that
Trash
felt
Bins there were parts where I was like there was a part where she was mad, and I could literally see her forcing herself to do an eye twitch multiple times,
yes,
and I was like, oh,
yes.
all right.
This is another really hot take, but I just don't love Zendaya as an actor. I think she's I have a feeling that she's like would be a fantastic a stage actress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I find her to be a little hammy in movies. And like
But it's hard
this
to say that because and all the Zendaya haters are like, get this brown woman off the
no,
screen, and I'm like, dude, please,
I just
please.
my honest feeling with Timothy Chalamet and with Zendaya, both of their characters, even though they're different actors, I look at both of those casting choices and it kind of hurts that they are the main character, at least in this movie. I don't know if moving forward, maybe other characters step into this role, but in this movie, they are the main two. I mean, you were like really focused on them the whole time. And I'm like, I really hope the producers don't regret this casting choice because like it feels like both of them were those like guys, these are the hot ones right now.
Yes,
Put them in
yeah,
this damn movie and you're gonna make billions, baby. And they put them in there, and I'm like, were these the best actors
yeah.
for this role? I really don't think. I don't. I should have somebody else prepared in mind that I could say like, but I almost feel like this would have been a good opportunity for somebody like an unexpected like. You know how when like Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker and everybody was pissed before it,
Yes, yeah.
then he came out and it was like mind blowing and all that bullshit. It's like I almost feel like this could have been an opportunity to like take a risk.
You have one unheard message. First unheard message sent yesterday at 7:15 p.m.
Cold Cuts fandom, Patrick Bateman once again. Let me tell you that I could not be happier. Last time we talked, I was in a bit of distress, but Hamas and I have worked out a deal, and I'm a free man once more. A slight complication is that I did have to give up Harris's address, and some issues may arise from that, so in a bit of goodwill, I'm telling you on Zach's behalf that what you're about to see is the first quarter. You can see the rest of the episode on the Cold Cuts Patreon for just $5.